Welcome. Another episode. Keeping it orange and blue. I'm Ryan Evan, joined as always by Kevin Ducey, whose voice might be a little hoarse after the Red River shootout down in Dallas. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. A little tired. Had a great weekend. It was a lot of fun. It was odd being in the stadium, and anybody who's you're in a full stadium, your internet doesn't work very well, and like I saw we were winning, I was like, oh, looks like we're doing fine. And what the heck? We're going to overtime. And like, what is this? It's like, oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me.
I was wondering. I was thinking. I was like, I wonder if Kevin saw 27-3, put his phone down for a while, and then saw 43-all, and was like, how did we get here? Now, I want everybody to know this. I was trying to explain a little to Kev yesterday. I was like, hey, I know it looks bad, but it's really not as bad as it seems because, hey, the Purdue quarterback's probably pretty good, like better than Hudson Card. And like,
I mean, I think if they don't have a quarterback battle brewing on their hands, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, even his number, I mean, he got 9 yards passing in the first half, but had a drop that was a dime on that go route on the sideline. I mean, the kid's pretty good, man.
Yeah, and he's faster than anybody on Illinois' defense, if we didn't notice that.
It certainly seemed that way.
Yeah, so Kevin didn't get the full grasp until this morning when he watched the replay, and trust me, and you know what, I might upset some fans on here, but my perspective on the loss we're going to get to shortly. But here's the main point: a win is a win, Kev. And when you're trying to stack wins with a program that hasn't really had that many of late, I saw a post out there in the previous 10 seasons before Brett Bielema got here, Illinois' program was 48-84, and now he is 23-20 at Illinois. So in the Big Ten, a win is a win. You got to just win the game. Every game is its own too. I think we've discussed transitive properties, and I've tried to match up like, well, Illinois beat this team, so that means they should beat that team that played them really well. That's just not how it works. So we saw Illinois play well against Nebraska. We've seen Illinois battle and play Penn State really well, who is number 3 in the country now, by the way. I just want to say this. Illinois is 5-1, whose only loss is at the number 3 ranked team in the country after a big win at USC over the weekend. So
it's not crazy to me that there's
just digress a little, people, and we'll break it down a little more, and I'll give you my final thought on the Illinois program, where we're at as we head to Michigan. But your overall thoughts, Kev, after you rewatched the entire game, and we're going to do a champagne toast and all that fun stuff. But your thoughts after watching a 50-49 thriller against Purdue.
I can't believe we won the game. I just cannot believe that we won the game. When you look at everything that went on in that game, you are up by 12 points with 2 minutes to go, and then with 41 seconds or whatever it was, you're down by 3. Like, I just, for the toughness of the Luke Altmaier, the overall team, to be able to come in and pull that out was just pretty incredible, man. And obviously Purdue wanted to get out of there. They're like, we're going for 2. Screw it. We're just going to make it happen. And I'm glad they did. And all the things you could basically have a freshman kicker out there kicking game time field goal, ice water in his veins, and as you see him pumped up on the sidelines, I mean, David Alano looks like he's 14 years old. I mean, but the toughness of this team to come back and win is just not something that I think we've seen from many Illinois teams. We lose that game all the time, and we didn't. And all of our hopes and all of our aspirations for this season are still on board. And Illinois played a really good half of football, and then they played a decent half of football offensively, and they played a terrible half defensively. And
Jason, that's what it's all about. Doesn't matter how it got there.
we got it back. We haven't beat them. We haven't beaten them in Champaign since 2010, I think. Right?
And Sean, yes, the Cowboys are dookie right now. I mean, I appreciate you reminding me.
Let me address something, Travo. Fagan has not been asked to move to linebacker. Fagan is not moving to linebacker. I think they missed Fagan, especially in the first half yesterday. I think if I'm going to talk a little bit about the offense, you saw the run game really start to pop. And I've said this, and I've said this, and I've said this, dude. Barry Lunny needs to run some real read option run opportunities for Luke Altmaier early in games. As soon as it happens, the running lanes open up. And he is a good runner. So we got to see that some more. We saw it run the ball really well in the second half. That's why I said I thought we missed Fagan a little bit in the first half. So,
I'll give people who are listening. Obviously, this is a podcast. It's on all the platforms.
Hey, Ryan, real quick.
Go ahead.
You guys can go to 24/7 Sports and look at their recruiting rankings each year. And if you go back and look at the last 5 years, which is basically the players that are on these rosters. Now, the transfer portal changes a lot of things, but Hudson Card was a higher ranked prospect out of high school than Altmaier. But go look at the recruiting rankings and tell me one time where you find Illinois in front of Purdue in the last 5 years. So before we Purdue's struggling this year. Purdue has not played well at all, and I really think had that strip sack fumble not happen, we go down there and score. They probably quit. They probably fold, but it didn't, and it went their way. But dude, those are Big Ten, Division I scholarship players on that football team, and their metrics were terrible, and they had not played well, and they didn't play well in the first half, and they got a little juice with a backup quarterback. Like frankly, dude, we found out Card was going to be out Friday.
They had no time to prepare for this dude at all.
And granted, we should have been able to react a little bit better. But he played his ass off. He played a hell of a game, dude. He should be looked at for Big Ten Freshman of the Week. I mean, like he was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys are on scholarship too. There's guys on that team that are going to play in the National Football League, right? Like it's not like Illinois was 50-49 against Eastern here, right? So yes,
Paul, we're going to get to it. We're just letting Kev talk about his thoughts from what he saw.
But I think that we don't give that it's enough credit. So and Travel says it. We're 5-1, dude. We're fine. And you know what? Sometimes players get a little full of themselves. I think they probably got a little full of themselves at halftime. They don't have any time to be full of themselves this week. So
nope. I'm going to hit on a little bit about what Kevin mentioned, and I want Illinois fans to just take a step back too. So think about this: 4-1. How many times did we always here we go, here's the Illinois moment again, right? And you know what? Why all this was happening, it was so surreal, Kevin, because it was 27-3. So I got drunk guys in front of me, just high-fiving everybody, and it's just wild, and we're just having a great time. And then as Purdue is slowly catching back up, it got very the animosity kicks up. Apathy starts to kick in. People were leaving pissed off. A woman starts to cry in front of me because she sees how pissed her husband is. And I'm just sitting here thinking, it's 43-40 all of a sudden. I was like, I said, but everybody, I said, we got 2 timeouts. Hold on a second. I said, Luke Altmaier is not faced. I said, he's going to take us back down. All we need is a field goal. I said, can we just relax here? And people were kind of like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's Illinois. This is totally Illinois, and I'm just like, okay, well, Luke Altmaier deserves some big time flowers, man, because everybody else was talking about. I watched all the Big Ten post game shows and watched the national post shows. One place did give him some love on ESPN for his numbers, but let's just tell you that 439 total yards, 4 touchdowns, and that's his 3rd or 4th game-tying or game-winning drive in the 4th quarter this year. Okay, I just want everybody to know that. And if it was so easy, everybody would do it. I can promise you. But he does it, and he's been so clutch this year.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
And I know Kev just become a huge fan of him. I think he always liked him, but
absolutely,
yeah. But anyway, so to see that and to just feel the vibe and everybody felt like somebody had died, Kevin. So when Purdue got that onside kick, everybody was like, it's over. Like, they're going to come down and score, and it's done. Like, somebody just died, And to have all those things go against Illinois in that 20, 25-minute stretch. Remember, Illinois was up 27-3 with 10 minutes left in the third quarter. So 25 minutes. It really kind of felt like the Wisconsin game last year, but worse.
Yeah.
As they blew a 17-point lead in that time span. This was 24. But you just knew, like, something about the defense, they just couldn't get a stop, man. They just couldn't get off the field. And I just know Luke kept driving them down there, scoring to keep that, between 10 and 14. But then when they got that final touchdown, you knew an onside kick was coming. And then when you watch the replay of it, you see, Rosiak and Dixon just looking at each other like, what are we going to do here? And I'm thinking,
Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, like, who's going to get it? And nobody got it. So the fact that Illinois was able to hold on to that, and David Alano, what a kicker, what an asset to have, Like, the guy, he doesn't let the moments phase him either. He hit a 49-yarder into the wind, by the way, and it would have been good for 10 from 55 at least to go tie the game up. And then on the first play in overtime, throw a beautiful ball to Pat Bryant, who has just turned into, I think he's got to be in a third to fourth round pick probably.
It may be even better. I mean, what is impressing me so much about, like, Pat Bryant is running after the catch, like DJ Moore and AJ Brown really spin. Like he was popping some Purdue defenders, man. He ran that one dude over on the sideline, just knocked him on his ass, dude. I mean, it should be looked at. I mean, I'm just really impressed with his run after the catch ability. We all knew he had the ability to catch the ball, and we saw it in spaces where he could run after the catch. But what he's doing this year, that's a grown ass man out there, man.
And that catch he made in the end zone, I was on like the 35-yard line of near the horseshoe, and I was like, oh, he caught it, but like, did he get his foot in? I'm like, man, what a way. He handled it all perfectly. And he caught it with, by the way, his fingers. He didn't catch it in here.
He called that play, by the way.
Yeah, he called it too, so that the man knows what the hell he's doing, and him and Luke have such a great connection.
Dude, if you watch the replay, this is a guy who is a really, really good football player for this team, and I'm really happy he got a touchdown on Saturday. But Zachary Franklin does a lot of little things that don't show up in the stat sheet. Go watch the replay. It's the replay. Don't watch that. You don't need to actually watch the play. Watch the replay. You can clearly see it. They're running a deep cross. I used to love to run it in college football with the tight ends. It's a deep crosser, right? You watch how razor thin the spacing is between Zachary Franklin and Pat Bryant's man, and that was what gives him the little bit of extra cushion to get open and be open for the touchdown pass there. It was Zachary Franklin did a great job on that route.
And I see some comments in here. No way we can beat Michigan. We're going to get to that, and I think that there's a reason the line is as close as it is. Okay,
yeah, absolutely. By the way, I have a question about this. Watching it, it didn't look like it was very full. Memorial Stadium.
No, that's not true. So here's what happened.
Okay,
55,000. It was legit too, Kev. So the only thing that there was kind of sparse, and it was only for the first half, was it that full.
Okay, so everybody left at halftime.
Yeah, most people, I would say 10,000 to 15,000 people left at half, and half of the student section. So that's another thing that irritated me, and I think that really phased. The crowd wasn't as loud as it should have been. But anyway, we still had about 40,000 there towards the end of the game and in overtime, who got to witness a crazy game that people probably won't ever forget. And I got to tell you, leaving that game – this is the feeling of just like I couldn't even not express it to people as I was leaving. I was like, if this is what a roller coaster feels like, because I don't ride roller coasters, but like if that's what a roller coaster feels like oh my goodness, because it was like excitement to like we got this kind of coasty to like this isn't good to aggravation to like in my gut I'm like did we just blow this before Michigan? Like we were going to be 5-1. We had Michigan there for us. Now we're going to be 4-2. We're going to lose our ranking, and people are never going to let Illinois live this down. Along with Ryan Walters just got the best of us, and we haven't won the can here since 2010. And I was thinking about all this before Luke trotted onto the field to take over to lead us down. But I was like, we have to win this game. And I was like, and I know Luke's going to do it because all that would have been true.
It felt a little bit like Indiana last year.
Yeah.
Game we definitely should have won, and then we've jerked around. Defense played terrible, and and I agree, Brad. I thought that was pass interference, but actually, I heard a lot of fans complain about pass interference, the lack of pass interference.
Yeah, they weren't. Yeah,
they didn't call some on us too. So I thought that they were letting them play, so I was fine with that.
And so, yeah, I love Bielema's presser, and of course he's kidding. He said he just wanted to give everybody their money's worth, and.
Guys, we've played 6 games this season. We've played 5.5 games of pretty decent defense.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say to people too, because
we had a bad half of defense. Yes, Kansas probably should have ran the ball more. We weren't very good at the defensive line or the linebacker spot.
There's a bunch of people, Kev, in my DMs and in these chats that Aaron Henry should be fired. Ryan Walters has that man's number. He should be fired for that half. What do you have to say to those people, Kev?
I have to say we're 5-1 and ranked 22nd and 23rd in the polls. You can kiss my ass.
Yeah. Now, after we get, and I want to say this, but
now listen, if this continues, they might need to look at that. But here's one thing that I'll ask everybody out there, and I know that I'm biased because he's my friend. Aaron Henry had a poor half Saturday. They were not making the adjustments that were needed. Now, granted, players got to make plays, but Aaron will tell you he didn't call a good second half. Like, he was not good. So if you want to besmirch the man, besmirch him for his play calling as a defensive coordinator. Don't you go out there and tell people and say he's trash. Like, say he was a trash defensive coordinator in the second half. Like, just don't. It really bothers me when people.
There were a couple plays that Illinois' defenders had interceptions go through their hands. I want to keep.
Matt Bailey, come on, man.
Matt Bailey's got to catch that ball. Okay. Now I want to say this.
And listen,
yeah, Walters is a great OC. I love it. But how about that? How about his defense? Let's just keep it real. Okay, the man is a defensive mind, and I was giving it to the Purdue fans behind me. I want you all to know this. They were in my ear purposely. I think they knew who I was. So they were all in my ear about it. Like, no, Walters has your number, blah, blah, blah. And I turn around and I go, isn't he a defensive coach, by the way? I was like, he's doing a hell of a job today as OC, but hey, whose schemes are they running here? I was like, what is that, 2 games in a row that their team's giving up 50 points? I said, how about you worry about that? I was like, because they were ripping him like Illinois' defense sucks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, you guys got way more problems to worry about right now than the fact that I said you guys did find a quarterback, but he's probably going to transfer when the staff's fired, because you got Oregon, Penn State, and Ohio State coming soon. So good luck with that, Purdue. They got Oregon coming to West Lafayette Friday, Kevin.
Yeah, dude, they got to be sitting there going like, why couldn't we get Iowa's schedule?
Yeah, or Indiana's schedule.
All right.
Now, before I let Kev finish up here, we're gonna together about it because I saw somebody asked about it. Yes, Walters and the Purdue staff did some tomfuckery, not tomfoolery, some tomfuckery with the 3-1 halftime performance. With 5 minutes left in the half, he purposely rushed his team out there to interrupt, I think, nudge a couple of the band members. Looked like one of the drum majors possibly is what I was told. And I know it got back to the staff. And I know it pissed off Brett. That was part of why Brett Bielema was pissed off in the post-game presser. He actually said, I'm pissed off, and wouldn't tell everybody why, but that's part of it. It's just, not only does that show how immature Ryan Walters is, you can tell that he's in a situation of bitterness and misery, and you could tell that as much as he wants to say how much he respects Coach Bielema, he does not, and he doesn't respect the Illinois program either. So I'll let you finish that, and then we'll switch gears to Michigan.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was disgusted. I mean, that's one of the cool thing about like there's the pageantry of college football is in my opinion, it's like sacred, right? And it's just you cannot do that, right? You cannot. I mean, if Illinois did that, I would be so mad at our coach. I would be so frustrated with that. That's just not. It's not. This is not cool, man.
Would you imagine Ohio trying to dot the I and Illinois runs out there and like barges through and nudges somebody? What do you think? What do you think Ohio State fans would do?
I would be national news, right?
Yeah, it would be national news.
Yeah, Ryan Walters, like I really liked him when he was here. He obviously did a great job when he was here. That's why he earned the opportunity to be a head coach. But since he's been there, the way that he's handled it is just, I just don't get it. And I don't have any. Hey, they had a chance to get one more win this season, and they didn't.
And they blew it.
So they can kiss my ass on your 1-11 season. He's probably going to get fired after they get mud stomped by Oregon.
I actually enjoyed watching the replay.
That game's going to be a weird one, though. Oregon coming off a huge win, going on the road at Friday night. Purdue will be a huge underdog in prime time on a weird night.
Yeah, but it's still Oregon.
They might keep it closer than the number.
Yeah, so if they can say it's
how's it gamesmanship, by the way? How's that, like Jason Ron just said, Purdue fans are saying it's gamesmanship. It doesn't disrupt the football team. You disrupted the band, man. The kids who get their one moment of glory to be on the field per week, and you disrupted that. And you disrupted the 3-1. That's not gamesmanship. That's just classless.
Yep. And just as I finish up with Purdue, I enjoyed watching the replay of how cocky Purdue was as they were taking the lead, like telling everybody bye and like basically to suck it and all this other shit. And I'm thinking, and you still couldn't close the door.
Yep.
You know, that's what you get. So anyway, now as we move on, I want people to know I'm not going to sit here, Kev, and say that Illinois, that Fagan sat out this week because Illinois asked him to play a linebacker, which I've heard rumblings of. I'm going to sit here. I can't say they are true. I've just heard that. But I do know this is what I know. And I'm going to find out more tomorrow. So Kaden Fagan was on the sideline yesterday, not in pads, but in a jersey around the sideline, walking around with some other people. He was running around and jumping with those guys during touchdown moments and all kinds of things. Now, if you have a hyperextension to where you guys are, if you're really worried about, does this need surgery? What does this need? You have nothing on it, and yet you're running and jumping on the sideline with your teammates. That doesn't really show me that you're injured. I just feel like there is a little more to it. I don't know what it is, but I will get to the bottom of it. I'm not going to sit here and say that he is going to transfer, but people, and you know who I talked to several people, Kevin, but I do know he's been unhappy with some stuff, with how the running schemes have been. He's pissed off about the guard play and how they're not really blocking, and he doesn't like how he's being used in the run game. That's just what I know. He wouldn't intentionally just say, I'm not going to play because I don't like it. But I don't believe that it's this serious. That's an injury that could be very serious. So I'll find out a lot more earlier in the week. I probably won't play against Michigan, but I want everybody to know this too. Just because Brett Bielema says something, I want you guys all to know. It's kind of like misdirection. You know, like Lovie Smith would just straight up lie. Head coaches aren't just going to be real with everybody and tell you all their info because, of course, then Michigan would know or Purdue would know. But if he's going to tell you something like in the post, he had to wait till like almost the very last question to address Kaden Fagan's injury, and he was like, "Oh, I almost forgot." Like, "Oh yeah, he kind of like hyperextended it in practice," and it's like, "Hey, this could be like your best player," and like it didn't even get discussed until the very end of the presser. And you didn't even mention it. You had to have someone ask you about it. So there's something there, and I know it needs to get worked out. So I just don't want to lead anybody astray. So I want everybody to kind of know that I don't think it's some real serious injury that he is going to miss the rest of the year because that ain't it. So if he doesn't play, maybe one or two more games possibly, we'll find out what it really is though. So I just want everybody to know that. He's already played 5 games too, though, so he's not going to be able to like get that red shirt. So that's why I feel like we're going to see him again sooner than later.
And
Now,
Ashton Hollins is out for the season.
yes, yeah, yep. Dude got offered by every program in the country to play linebacker. Yes, exactly. And I will tell you, Illinois is hurting at the inside linebacker position. And if you don't know, just go back and watch the second half of the Purdue game. Now, I know a lot of people are watching. We're going to get to the hoop scrimmage stuff. We're going to preview Michigan here for a few minutes. Illinois and Michigan, top 25 clash like we had hoped, Kev.
Yep.
Illinois, number 22. Purdue, number 24. The line has moved a lot already today, hasn't it? Because I saw like 1.5 or 2 Michigan. Now it's like 1. And now it was like 1 Illinois, like on something. I saw Circa had Michigan as a 1-point favorite to start this morning. I know you can look that all up now, but I know money's already been moving quite a bit on it. So,
yeah, I mean, that'll be interesting. I'm trying to pull that up now, see what I can find.
That's fine. But so
Circa's odds have come in a little weird. They've been a little bit
because Brett McMurphy's one I always look at because he puts the Circa odds up. And I saw early, it was like at 12:30, 1 o'clock, it was 1.
Now it's 3 on Scores and Odds. Michigan.
So 3 for Michigan. So some people are putting money on Michigan. Okay.
Open
Not surprising. Yeah. Because they're going to look at that Purdue game and say, Illinois is ripe for the picking, man. They got a lot of trouble. They couldn't stop Purdue. That's just kind of face stuff, like on the surface. But we don't really know if that's the sharps, right?
Normally the early money is sharps. So,
but there's reasons that they put the money down too, right? To draw more people in.
No, the sharps will normally jump on a line because they think they know what's the side they want to be on. So the sharps would come in on Michigan early, but we'll see.
Yeah. This is still going to be a close game, in my opinion, no matter what. And tons to play for. Let's delve in here though. So after what we saw Ryan Brown was able to do, it's interesting because Purdue does not Michigan does not have a quarterback that is similar to Ryan Brown in this aspect. Jack Tuttle isn't the type of mover Ryan Brown is, but he's a better passer than Alex Orji. Alex Orji is a very elusive runner, and it could be dangerous with, Edwards and Mullins. They're back to a huge game against USC, but Orji cannot pass the ball. So Illinois may be able to stack the box in that situation and not really necessarily worry about having to double anybody or have more than 2 or 3 guys in coverage. So it's just an interesting thing there because, I liked what I saw from Tuttle to a degree. And, yes, Tuttle's going to have a week to prepare for Illinois, but still a guy coming off a pretty serious injury. And, he showed some struggle there a little bit in the second half. By the way, let's just keep this real. Washington is not a good team. So I want everybody to know that. And I get that Washington in Seattle is probably a little more tougher than they are on the road, but
they got their ass smacked by Iowa.
Iowa kicked their ass, and Washington could not stop Iowa's offense, if you believe that. Washington also lost at Rutgers and probably should have won, but I think we're kind of seeing that Rutgers just struggles offensively really bad.
Yeah, Rutgers, maybe Wisconsin's found something too. Maybe Wisconsin and Iowa are better than we thought a couple weeks ago.
So, but I don't believe Washington's a good team. I think they're average at best. And you saw Washington be the better team against Michigan a couple weeks ago. So this is a game Illinois can win to me no matter what. I'm not worried about what I saw against Purdue. A lot of people are going to talk about that. So your keys to victory and our prediction here for the 100th year rededication Memorial Stadium, the jerseys, they're going to have all the bells and, the bells and whistles sold out, Kev. We're having keeping it orange and blue tailgate that I'm super excited about. We're going to have some star-studded maybe guests show up, some really good food. what are you excited about and looking forward to, and what are your thoughts on the game?
Well, first off, I'm just excited to be back in Memorial Stadium. It's been a minute. Excited about it since the Northwestern game last year. Always, this just feels like home. Excited all the stuff that's going on. By the way, if you can get out and go see some of this stuff they're doing at the stadium, I would highly encourage you guys to do that. There's a lot of stuff that's free. Talk about the game of 1924 against Michigan. So it's going to be an awesome event all the way around, and I'm really looking forward to our tailgate. Big shout outs to my friends Mitch and Dan Stiebel. Played high school football with Mitch. I called him Nails because our offense, we just used to beat him up as his scout team quarterback, especially his junior year. He would just get pummeled, and he just kept bouncing up. So thanks to those guys. Yeah, we're gonna have it. Dude, any of you guys want to come out there, come see us? We'll have a big Keeping It Orange and Blue banner on one of the out there so you guys can see it. Know where it's at in lot 31. But here, keys to the game. How are we going to attack this Michigan team? The idea, the thought process that I'm thinking here is obviously we got to get up there and stop the run game, right? They're one of the worst passing teams in the entire conference. I think they might be the worst passing team in the entire conference. Tuttle kind of changes that a little bit. They got a little bit better with throwing the ball. Can Illinois effectively they basically do a video game mode is what my buddy Mike Kegley called it and said, can we put 8 guys in the box and run man coverage on the outside and hope that we can stop the run? I don't know, I hope, and then can we score enough?
Points.
Yeah, can we score enough? I think I think we can. I think we could. I think Michigan's defense is not the juggernaut that we think it is. Brandon Anderson started at right guard, if I saw it correctly. Am I right, Ryan?
Yeah, you are correct. Yes.
Did Priestley come back in the game?
Yeah, Priestley's back. Yep.
Okay, all right. And then you have some worries about Xavier Scott, Kaden Fagan. I agree with Brad P. I think it'd be really odd for Illinois to ask Fagan to move to linebacker at this point in the season. I think if you're going to do that, you'd probably ask him to do a little Travis Hunter action, place him both ways. But
I think it was for next year, by the way, just so you know that.
It's weird that you say you don't. If you saw him moving around the sideline, who knows? He could have been suspended, right?
Yeah, that's why I just want everybody to know that Brett said it was a hyper. He went into this thorough, detailed thing about how they've been seeing these experts, specialists in the post-game presser, and he hyperextended it, and they're not really sure how long it is, and they want to make sure they get the right diagnosis because he's not going to be a shoe salesman. That's exactly what he said. He's going to be a player in the NFL, and they don't want to hurt his career and mess with it and put him out there if they're not really sure what the damage is. He said it's a very unique injury. Is exactly what Brett Bielema said.
Well, I certainly hope it's something that can afford him to play because I like having the 2 thumpers that we do. So,
yeah,
and it'd be nice to have. Like, listen, I think it could have helped our team if we had 55,000 people still in the stands second half on Saturday.
Yeah, people need to stop that shit. Like, I don't care.
It's against my religion to leave games early. As a matter of fact, all my buddies that I went, all the big OU fans on Saturday, they're like, we're leaving. There's about 5-10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's 34-3. And I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're leaving. And I'm like, the game's not over. Like, yeah, well, we're leaving. Like, yeah, the game's over. Texas is won.
So you had to leave with them?
I did. I don't leave games early, man. I didn't leave Penn State early in Ron Zook's first year that they were throwing touchdown passes on us I hate it. So I'm hoping we have a full throat, full stadium for all 60 minutes. Now, if my wife and my kids are done with the environment and they want to go back to the tailgate, I get it. They can go. I'm not leaving.
By the way, where are you? Are you up in the west stands balcony or east balcony?
I'm in the east balcony. Yep.
Okay. So that's where all the fun action is. If Illinois wins, you already know when you walk down, you're going to get some Bielema pointing up at you guys and all that fun action. So, yeah, that's so anyway, I think it has nothing to do with him playing defense. Barry.
I don't think so either. It seems
by the way, Ryan didn't come on here and say that is what it is. I'm telling you, people have in my ear, that's what it is. But I think we all agree, not you or anybody necessarily, but the people who I've talked to about the situation behind the scenes think that it's not because he really hurt himself and they're just waiting to get more specialists to tell him how long he needs to sit out. Because if that was really what it is, why would you be jumping up and down like a crazy person and running up and down the sideline like you could carry the ball, like you're stiff arming people? Like, trust me, I have pictures and videos. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it ain't what Brett said. I just want everybody to know that. And he can tell you whatever he wants. He's the coach. It's his program. But people think that, oh, Brett said it's this, so that's what it has to be. No, it's all about smoke and mirrors, man. He's trying to protect his program. So I don't think that it's necessarily because Fagan's pissed and he doesn't want to go play a linebacker. But there's a lot of scenarios out there. So, yeah. And I agree. He's going to be a pro. So
27-21 Illinois.
Okay. I like it. So when we look at this, I don't know the better scenario. I don't really like our run defense. If you look, I think Nebraska probably should have ran it more. I think
Kansas should
have definitely ran it more. Penn State did run it and they succeeded. But let's keep it real. Penn State's got a great O-line and some of the best backs in the country. You look yesterday, Mockabee had some success. Love had a little bit of success in the first half, but Ryan Brown had tons of success. Now, you mix that in with Orgy and those stable of backs, that's another. But Illinois will know what's coming with the Orgy. You mean Ryan Brown was able to have success throwing the ball because we were committing to the run, and that left guys.
And Brown is Michigan obviously has a very mobile, athletic quarterback in Orgy. Brown is a much better thrower of the football.
Yes, Brown showed. Orgy just doesn't even look like he belongs throwing the ball. Tuttle can, and he makes decent reads, but he is not Ryan Brown running around. So if Illinois gets any type of pressure, that could be different. Some things Illinois is going to have to clean up, though, defensively, obviously. So there were so many missed tackles, Kev, against Purdue. I counted 3 or 4 from Seth Coleman. I saw Gabe Yakis completely whiff on Mockabee on one of the big runs in the fourth and in overtime on the big run. You saw, guys getting drugged for 3 or 4 yards for first. It's just kind of like, I don't get that.
Right.
I'm not, you know what I'm talking about, Kev. Yeah. It's like you can't tackle like that to win games. I don't know if it was just being exhausted from being out on the field so much in the fourth quarter. I don't know, but you got to be able to tackle better. I think pride's going to kick in. And I think as Brett said, this is the best thing that could happen to him, which may be true. But this game and what this means, and I know there's going to be more on this team's shoulders, and they know what this game means and what it's at stake for this program, that I don't see them coming out and worrying about what happened with Purdue. I think it's going to be a laser-focused group. I love what I'm seeing from our offense, though, Kev. And this Michigan defense does not scare me. Doesn't scare me whatsoever. I don't think we're going to give up 30 points to this Michigan offense, and I think we can score what you said, between 27 and 30 to win the game. So you said, what'd you say, 27-21?
Yeah.
All right, I'll say 28-24 Illinois.
Love it. Hey, the over-under in this game is 41. That's ridiculously low.
So I'm wondering, okay, so they're thinking maybe like a 21-20 or 21-18 or –
yeah, something like that. Yeah, somewhere in that.
2017. Range. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, a couple questions here I want to ask. Big Dog, if we beat Michigan, lose to Oregon, and win out, do we have college football playoff potential? Yes. Your losses will be to Penn State and Oregon. Your losses will be just fine. Now, Penn State will probably lose at some point in time. I don't know. I haven't really looked at Oregon's schedule, but those teams will probably be college football playoffs.
If we're 10-2 there, Kev, well, we're going to be in the discussion.
Right. So the thing that you would have to look at as an Illinois fan, you'd really want, you'd really want to see Nebraska continue to roll. Maybe have Nebraska. You're a Nebraska fan the rest of the season. Basically, you want them to beat Indiana. Maybe not take our spot, but their schedule's too difficult for that. But you'd like to see Nebraska. If Nebraska finished 9-3, it'd be pretty good for us. It'd be a nice little win in the cap. So
if Illinois and Indiana are around the same thing at 10-2, Illinois is going to get picked over IU. Just because the strength of schedule is crazy.
Hey, I love what Mike Mulberry said. Throw short to run. I thought Illinois did probably the best. Barry Lunny did the best job he's done all year, all his entire tenure at Illinois, about getting the balls out in the flat to like backs and like the Zachary Franklin touchdown. Did it with Pat Bryant. I love that. So we need to keep doing it. I'd love to see some more of that. I think we could take advantage of Michigan.
I don't know if you've seen them, but I'm okay with the trolls that come on here. So I've blocked some of them. I don't know if you've seen some of the comments.
Oh, yeah. That's
right. Hey, and guess what I'm consuming? I'm consuming viewers. I'm consuming follows. I'm also consuming jealousy. That's what I'm consuming. So, hey, how's that feel? Hey, and are you watching my podcast or am I watching yours? Because pretty sure you're looking at mine. But it's fine.
Don't feed the trolls, man.
No, I'm just saying, Kev, if I told you how many people say shit to me in my DMs,
I know.
If I address one or two once in a while, it's okay.
Hey, and check it out, 7. I also wanted to address yours. So, about if we can't beat Michigan, we barely eke out a win against Purdue. So, LSU went to South Carolina and was in a dogfight and should have lost the game against South Carolina. That same South Carolina team played Ole Miss, and Ole Miss stomped a mud hole in them 27-3. And then Ole Miss and LSU played. We're utilizing the transitive property. We would think, oh, well, what happened? LSU won. So I do think it's a little bit of – I think we got full – I've heard a lot of people say this. I think it's in one of our Twitter chats, Ryan. I think we got full of ourselves at halftime. Yeah, I think we miss Xavier Scott a lot. Xavier Scott is so versatile. He really does so many unique things for this team. I really thought Matt Bailey was going to be the best guy back there. It's been Xavier Scott.
Yeah.
And I think Scott can play corner. He can play nickel. He can play safety. He can do it all for this team.
It sounds like Xavier Scott's wasn't something serious. It just was something that came up in pregame that they were.
Soft tissue injury. So,
yeah. So I'm expecting him back. Now, we had T Strain on here. I don't know if you saw this or not, but the man was cramping the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah. That was cramps. That was cramps.
Yeah, and you saw. I don't know if you saw in the very last play of the game when shout out to Big Sack Rosiak, and he's our OT guy, right? 2-0 this year in OT, and he has a game-winning sack.
Sacks on both of them.
On both of them. There's a video, and I felt so bad. I commented or I tweeted at him. I said, on this podcast, I told him, your time's coming. I said, you're going to be needed in a game this year, and you're going to have to come in there and step up. Well, after Rosiak got the sack, there's a camera view of Strain holding his thigh because he's cramping up, and he was covering a guy during that, by the way.
Oh, jeez.
And he was just laying there on the ground, like trying to get the cramp out as everybody's celebrating. And I'm thinking that's what these guys are giving to the program. They're giving themselves up. Obviously, yes, they're on scholarship and they're getting something out of this, but they're out there for our enjoyment, everybody. Just remember that. Yes, they're playing football because they love it, but they're out there entertaining us, and they're putting their bodies on the line. And so I'm proud of T Strain for giving it his all out there. So, and yes, check it out, 7. The Purdue QB did look good. I don't know how you go back to Hudson Card. I'm going to be honest, but so Kev's got 27-21 Illinois.
NIL dollars, promises.
Yeah, well, that's why he was the starter this year. But I'm from what I was hearing and seeing, when I talked with Tom Diener, it doesn't look like he'll be back next year. He doesn't think that Hudson will be back next year. So, so we both have an Illinois close victory. Definitely we're going to get the word out on our tailgate. We'll post a big thing on it. Me and Kev will retweet it out because
we'll be out there early in the morning, man. It's why we have the best tailgating in the world. Just come on, swing on by, grab one of my brother's famous pulled pork sandwiches or whatever. Yeah, we're good.
I'm going to have a bunch of different people. There'll be some media celebrities. There'll possibly be some 4-star recruits that Illinois is after. There'll possibly be some current basketball team players stopping by. Just odds and ends, man. Maybe a coach or two. And remember, they're not going to stand there with us for 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to swing in for a few minutes, probably say hello, maybe grab a pulled pork. Who knows? They're just going to come in and just check in and say what's up. So it'll be it'll be a good time. Also, if anybody, I'm going to post a tweet on it. If anyone's looking for one ticket to the Michigan game, my guy John Wright has one. Okay, and it's for $100. He wants it for $100, and I won't put all the info out there on X. And so if anybody's looking for one ticket, it's a good seat too. $100. There is one available, so you can DM me, DM Kevin, and then we'll get you the right guy to to talk to. So some kids stormed the field.
There's friends and family and a couple students, man. No,
yeah, it wasn't like 40,000 people stormed the field. Yeah. No.
By the way, reached out to a source. The Fagan linebacker stuff he's saying is not true, but he's in your camp, Ryan. He doesn't. He thinks it's not going to be. He does. He's got some worries about whether or not he'll be able to play this week. So.
Yep. I promise you guys, I will never come on here and make up something and lead you astray because what do I get out of that? Now, let's see here. Rosie, all right, we're going to transfer to the basketball scrimmage, and I think that's why we still got over almost 1,100 people still kind of tuning in here. Now, there was a report earlier from a Twitter account that said, Will Riley, 22 points. It was never close. I was told that's not true it was never close. Illinois did make out as the winner. Will Riley did play really well, which is good. So I will say that from all indications that Will Riley has kind of struggled a little bit with the size and physicality of the game. He's still young. He needs to put some weight on, but obviously his talent and his scoring ability and size, some of that's going to show through regardless if he, hasn't really acclimated super well with the college game as of yet. But from what I was told from a source earlier today, when the ball gets tipped though, when they play in scrimmage, he knows he shows up. So, which is good. And it sounds like he played well today. I was also told that Trey White played really well today. Bam Bam, Kylan Boswell played well.
Who's Bam Bam? Is that what you call him, Perez?
No, I'm just calling Bam. Bam is Boswell, Kylan Boswell.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the people who inside the program call him.
All right.
So then when I get a text from someone and says, I say, hey, who played well today? And it says Ben, Bam Bam, Trey.
All right.
I'm like, okay, that's what his name. And by everybody, and if we're gonna do a little hoops lingo for everybody here, Kasparis wants to be called KJ, so they're gonna call him KJ. Kylan Boswell's Bam, Bam Bam. Trey White is just Trey. Dre Gibbs Lawhorn's just Dre. I'm trying to think they call Tomislava Visic Tommy.
All right.
So he's Tommy. And so he did not get to play in that yet because he's not cleared. But I also spoke with the same source that said pretty positive and hopeful and not just they have no idea that before Thanksgiving they play Arkansas because that's when his brother – they get to play brother against brother, That'd be kind of cool. So, and in the video you also saw, Booth hit a three. But I asked, I said, okay, you said Ben, Will, Trey, and Bam really stood out today. I said, well, what about KJ, right? Everybody, we hear all this about him. He said he was beyond solid, though. He was a distributor today. That's what he does. He was distributing to people. And if you see in the video, that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
He's fine.
And my understanding is the reason we had Butler in the secret scrimmage, and then Butler's they'll be a decent team. They're probably
they'll fight for a bubble spot this year with Tad Mata. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, but they're one of the oldest teams in the country. They got a lot of old dudes, and we're young. And so that was the idea, is like Brad wanted to put his guys up against some older dudes, and some guys are probably physical.
Yeah. And see, based on the preseason videos, no, they're not going to put a video highlight package of guys bricking shots. So
it's always tough too, like to show like a steal or a defensive stop in a highlight video, because it's like, even though your guy got the defensive stop, they got the defensive stop. It's just
oh, that's what it was. It was youth sports day. So okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering, because some people did rush the field, and that was kind of neat. So all right.
Hey man, like you take the records and expectations and the spread out of it. It was an unbelievably exciting game.
Heck yeah. Everybody got their money's worth. That's all that matters. Now let's go to a fun segment that we haven't got to do in a couple weeks. The toast of Champaign. And there's some obvious ones in here. And so we'll do one for offense. We'll do defense. Whew. We'll do one for defense. But the defensive one, to me, I think probably not too difficult, but I'll let you go first, Kevin, with offense, and then I'll start with defense.
Well, let's just say this. Hey, everybody can sit here. I mean, the easiest choice is the easiest choice. Give him his flowers. He deserves it. We're giving him a toast of champagne, a unanimous toast of champagne to Luke Altmaier and what he played, right?
Yep,
so
correct. We both are toasting to that.
Dude threw for 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for a touchdown, would have had 100 yards rushing. Like he was incredible. He was tough. Man, that hit he took, my goodness, I don't know how that's not targeting, whatever. But oh my goodness, to take that hit and make that throw to McCray, who is my toast of champagne this week, is Josh McCray. Just really excited for him. 78 yards rushing, really good out of the backfield, catching the ball, caught a touchdown pass. He's pretty awesome. So I was really excited for 6 to see him shine. We saw flashes of it as a freshman. It's nice for it to come full circle. So my toast of champagne to you, Mr. Josh McCray.
And it was nice to see. If you guys haven't watched the post-game presser, Brett Bielema gets a little teary-eyed talking about Josh McCray. Because if you guys didn't know this, Josh McCray was the very first guy Brett Bielema offered when he got the job at Illinois. And so he said Josh McCray will always mean something to him. And he mentioned how Josh McCray lost his mother at a very young age and was raised by his grandmother, who then passed away when he was a freshman in high school, he didn't really have any parent or grandparent his final couple of years at high school. And I think he was just kind of raised by friends' family after that. And so Brett's always taken a real special liking to him. And think about the pathway, his journey at Illinois. Think about this. He said, when everybody's always talking about Kaden Fagan, everybody's talking about Aiden Lawfrey or, how good Khalil Valentine looks. He's like, who really talks about Josh? He's like, and Josh never lets that bother him. He said, he just comes to work every day and tries to work hard. And think how good of a freshman season he had. The next 2 years, it was just followed up with injury. So I definitely have taken more of an admiration and respect for Josh McCray. And I'm very happy and proud of what we saw from him on Saturday. So just remember that, Illini fans. All these guys have some stories, and maybe you don't care. But Josh has given everything to the program. So
3 touchdowns, 124 yards of offense. He was great.
So my toast, and remember the Victoria. If you know me, you saw my X post, man. The flowers for Luke Altmaier. Another 100-yard receiving performance for Mr. Pat Bryant, who has made himself quite the pro. And I love in the overtime touchdown where he got his foot in, how he was spraying money because he's making himself some money. There was a catch earlier in the game where he broke a couple tackles, right? And broke through guys off of him and juked a couple guys, got an extra 10 to 15 yards, as Kevin was talking about.
He had a guy hit him on the sideline and he just trucked his ass.
And a yak. He just yaks him over, get out of my way. And I remember sitting there in the stands going, did you just see him? Did he just truck that dude? I'm like, yeah, he did. So the model of consistency, Mr. Pat Bryant, you are my toast of champagne for offense. Now, defense. because he sealed the deal with a sack in overtime. Dylan Rosiak, who's playing with a groin injury that, again, I've never had one. I can only imagine those are not fun. Apparently he had one, and he was playing with one against Penn State. And, he got a week to rest it with the bye week. But just seeing him in there, he almost had a pick to end the game.
Yes.
He's the dude's going to give you his all. So Dylan Rosiak playing injured, giving it your all, and made the huge sack again in overtime. That was sorely needed to help preserve what could be a very special season at 5-1.
Yeah, on defense it was hard, but I was looking at this. I was just looking for a guy who's just kind of like around the ball, a guy who seemed like he was making plays, a guy like I thought Caleb Patterson looked pretty good out there. And I know it's tough to find something on defense after you get scorched for 500 plus yards and give up 40 points and 40 points in the second half. But I thought Caleb Patterson was pretty solid. So it's not a huge ringing endorsement, a toast of the game. But you know what? We'll both give toast. We'll give toast to Caleb Patterson, but I think we both give toast. We already did it a little bit. We've neglected giving the special teams guys enough love.
David Alano. Yeah, we should do a special teams toast. We can do that.
Yeah.
David Alano. David Alano with equal the amount of balls of steel of Luke Altmaier. Yeah. David Alano, doesn't matter what it is, what what the score, what is this a must win? Do we have to? Is this going to tie the game to put it in overtime? The pressure doesn't matter. He has missed one this year, but again, these are not easy. That's not an easy kick. A 47-yard kick in Happy Valley missed, but he's been money, man. So David Alano put Illinois into overtime, and they won the game. That's really all that matters. So,
yeah, and then and Hank Beatty on the other side too, returning another nice long punt return. He's been really good back there,
and made some big plays catching the ball as well.
He did, absolutely. Yep, he did, absolutely.
Yep. So we can go to our final thoughts here. Kev, I'll start. And I think we try to hit the nail on the head a lot of people, and people are starting to listen, I think.
Hey, real quick, Beatty has 8 punt returns for 133 yards. That's a heck of an average.
Yeah, it's about almost about 15 yards, about 15. So don't let this close victory over Purdue just filter or ruin your perception on where the football program is heading, and just how good of a program builder and how good things are inside the program. I think last year was an anomaly. There was a lot of change going on, and 5 coaches were taken, some staffers. There was a lot of unhappy people about certain things, and
the 2 best defensive linemen were hurt all year.
Yeah, there was just a lot going on, and they knew they had to play hurt. So I would say last year the culture wasn't really what Brett would love it to be, but the guys still battled and persevered, and that never consumed or ruined the vibe of the family and what recruits are seeing and hearing and feeling. And this year it's all playing out for you. A lot of the same guys as last year's team are playing this year. We've added Zachary Franklin. But think about that. You lose an all Big Ten wide receiver and Isaiah Williams, and you replace him with Zachary Franklin, and you lose Tanner Arkin, and you lose Tyler Ryman and add Tanner Arkin in there, and we don't even have Cole Rusk right now. And look where Illinois is at. I think the culture is tough, smart, dependable. Okay, and that's why I say that. That's why Brett Bielema has said it. And that the people inside the Smith Center believe it. And, not many teams come back and win that game when you have so much going against you. To me, that's what was impressive, as Kevin mentioned earlier. And don't expect to see a team baffled or just lost on Saturday. I'm expecting a team to come in prepared and knowing what's at stake and that has bought in. And I will tell you this, I am proud of the fans, though, who are showing up to games. Yes, we'd love you to stay till the end, but the fans are doing their part. And the football team is repaying you for doing theirs as well. So stick with them and keep coming to the games.
Yeah, and take in everything you can take in this weekend. It's gonna be truly a truly special environment. Probably one of the coolest environments that I've ever experienced at Memorial Stadium, and I've been to a lot of cool ones. Here's what I'll say. Like, yes, I said it before. We got world class tailgating. We know how to tailgate, and it's awesome. But get inside early, man. Like be ready for kick. Be full throat. Bring your energy. It's such a nice day. You can go back and tailgate after the game too. So,
Sean's like Debbie Downer. Have you noticed that? Like,
tip prime in place. Tip prime in place.
Isaiah Williams doesn't have to play for the juggernaut Lions. Like the fact that he made the 53 man. Like, let me ask anybody this. And Sean, I don't want to beat you up about it. Who should he be playing over right now?
Jameson Williams.
Yeah, because he doesn't do anything. Like, yeah, being the 6th or 7th wideout on one of the best teams in football, it could be worse. Go on, Kevin.
Yeah, no, it's a long football season. He'll get a chance. He'll get a chance. So, no, just get your butts in the seats. Come see us a Lot 31. It'll be a great time. A lot of fun. Everybody's welcome. And no, Brad, I don't. I think he's got a couple of games left. It depends on what happens his next couple of games, but no, I don't think so.
If he somehow beats one of Oregon, Penn State, or Ohio State, sure. They're gonna slap him around, and I'm gonna applaud the firing, and I can give my best Ryan Walters impression.
They got those teams in 3 out of the next 4 weeks. Good Lord.
I know. It's all good. It's all good. God, I didn't see that TSJ. How did TSJ do tonight against the Knicks? I saw he played.
Oh man, I don't pay much attention to preseason, but
I saw that DiVincenzo and Rick Brunson got into it, which is interesting because Jalen and Vincenzo were teammates at Villanova.
Yeah, they were buddies. Yeah,
and they were teammates at New York too. So,
yeah, he didn't do much.
No, but I guess he got a lot of playing time. So
8 minutes.
I'm on that loaded team, dude. Especially because you added Vincenzo and Randall, like. He's going to be a second team guy who's going to probably get 8 to 12 minutes a game now. And think about that. He's on a loaded team. So
yeah, he is.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Fade the Deuce Tuesday night.
Yes, sir.
Kev, did you do all right? We'll get to it Tuesday.
All right.
Yeah, my lock hit, but it's all right. Army, number 23. Navy, number 25. I'm telling you, special season for those guys. All right, we'll see you Tuesday night. Swap me out.
All right, well.